Hey guys, it's M. And a bit ago, we had a new HNK anime announced. I know everyone else is like creaming their jeans about it. I've been a fan of some certain properties where I was very excited for the thing, and then it came out, and then it was horrible, so I'm not going to do that again. My expectations are pretty standard until we see something. And by something, I mean like, I'm gonna need to see like the entire Shin arc or something before I make a decision on how I feel about it. But anyways, I still do want to talk about it and things I want from the series if it is going to be the full series being remade. So, I have some notes here. Let's discuss. Good animation. This is a baby point. I feel like we all want this. There's not really much to expand on with this point. Like, we just want the anime to look not like shit. You know? Not like Dragon Ball Super Episode 3 or whatever. Faithful adaptation with good filler that expands on the less explored characters. I know some people want a one-to-one recreation of the manga. I don't. Some of those things I just can't imagine flow well if they're just, like, ported from the manga into an anime. I know that the old anime did not handle filler the best sometimes, looking at you, Jennifer. But at the same time, some of those scenes were really good. Do you remember when Ken's just exploring and he finds this lady and she's like, wow, you're the savior, and it helps give more weight to this whole thing that Ken's been building up rep as the savior and all that shit. Then there were scenes like Huey fighting, other small stuff like that. Like, we need more stuff to expand on some of these more shit characters. I think Shin would do great with some. Shu needs some. Shiba needs to be written into some fucking scenes because bro was just born and then died. Souther could use some love. Maybe expand more on his past. Yuta could get some love. I really don't know how you fix that character. And give them creative liberties with some small scenes. These are kind of connected, which is why I wrote them together. Hot take, maybe, I don't fucking know. I feel like everything I say is a hot take to like 3 people, but some scenes have been done better in adaptations than they were in the original. For a amazing example, the Ken and Rao final punch. You know what I'm talking about. When the fight was ending and they were like, this is it, this one punch will seal the deal, and then they both hit each other and Ken punches around the chest. That, in the original manga, it didn't hit as well as I imagined it would. Because you have to remember, I played LP first, then I had read the manga later. And in LP, that scene is amazing. It has like no narrative impact because Rao just shows up in that game. But that scene was probably one of the best scenes in the entire game. The LR version looks fucking amazing. Like, that's probably my favorite one. Jaggy, instead of getting just punched and then flying through some of the walls, Ken hits his face and then like the whole half of the building fucking falls down. I need more of that shit. Like, they need to have a little bit of breathing room when it comes to the fights and still hit the key scenes, obviously. But for the little lesser add-ons that would just make the fight scene cooler, yeah, I'd love that. Censorship. Now, I'm not really afraid of them censoring the blood, you know, even though it might be white or pink or fucking red, we don't really know. Like, that's gonna be there anyway. But I mean, like, with certain actions. You know, like things like how Yuta, it's implied that he did some more fucked up stuff. Some of the stuff in the Z arc where he's like blowing up little bambinos. You know, like stuff like that I feel doesn't get shown often in, you know, popular shonen. And I'm afraid if they censor some of that stuff, it's gonna shy away from some of the villainy of the characters. So I hope they still show all those fucked up things that the characters do just to help drive in their villainy like the manga and the original anime did. LR's voice cast. Now, obviously the old anime cast is not coming back to voice the characters again. But LR's voice cast is so good, I feel like they could perfectly replace everyone. Honestly, like, they all do such a good job, they don't need to change any of them. I know some people hate LR Ken, which I don't think he's a problem, but if I had to deal with him for a whole anime, then maybe I would think that. If they don't get him, I think the Jump Force VA would be pretty good. And I know some people might go like, well, what about Kiryu? That's absolutely not Kiryu. That might as well be the Yakuza anime at that point. I can't imagine that voice on anyone else prominently, so yeah. Best bet, probably the Jump Force voice actor. Mostly new OST. Now I know the nostalgia heads that love 90s anime music will go like, no, just bring back the old OST. There's a reason Dragon Ball Super got like a new OST. I get some people who are like, that's not a remake, you fucking dick. But A lot of HNK's OST feels like it's from that time period, and it would not transfer great to now. If we remade it and we wanted to get newer people into it, they're not gonna hear Ken's theme go like and go like, damn, that's a banger. That's right next to Jordo's theme. Like, that's not happening. Of course, you gotta keep the classics like Iwo and all that. And Toki's theme, I could just see getting a more modern rendition, and I'd be okay with that. But the rest, I could live without, honestly. I think it just aged like milk. Like, I'm not going back to any of the anime tracks and going like, this is a banger. I like 2 themes from the old show, which might be blasphemy. That I might, it's like, I might get roasted alive for saying that, but I just, Now for the episode drops. I think it should drop weekly. You know, since the anime's coming back, we gotta keep the hype going. We could be like JoJo. You know how they had JoJo Fridays? We could have like fucking Toki Tuesdays, I guess. I'd like to watch that all in one chunk. I think weekly would be the best way to do this, to keep the hype going. And then we have the what if scenario. If they do HNK 2 and onwards. Oh my god. If they animate HNK 2 and onwards, something beautiful could happen, right? Okay, because watch this. A lot of HNK 2's issues are from pacing. If they animate it, they're gonna have to like put in filler moments in between certain segments, which I think would really help. Like Han could get actual character moments like how he did in the old anime, but you know, better and a little bit more. Last Piece could be integrated into the story, so Shoza doesn't die and then no one ever mentions him and Kentaro just wasn't sad. Like that wasn't a part of his character in the base story, and now it could be. Imagine if we go past Asura and we get Assam, Baron, and Praying reworked Borge arc. And maybe Koketsu. Maybe they could fix Ryu. Maybe with a little bit of pacing, they could make him like an actual character. HNK 2 getting reworked into an anime kind of has me more excited than HNK 1. And I know HNK 1 is better, okay? Well, that's, okay, I just said another hot take. Sometimes I just need to stop talking. It's wishful thinking. I honestly doubt that this new anime adaptation is going to go into HNK 2 unless it gets really popular. I'm hoping for the best, man. I really am. The anime comes back, the first season does great, and then they're like, let's animate HNK 2, and the HNK 2 becomes a good thing that doesn't feel rushed in every aspect, and then we get the extending arcs. I want to see Barret animated, man. I want my Barret arc extended on, man. I want that shit so bad. Anyways, I've said my piece. What do you guys think? What do you want from this anime? As always, I'm glad to discuss with any of you, and I've been out, and I am out.